You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And, well, there was football this weekend.
And some good football.
There was some really good football. We don't have to talk about it much, but Denver KC was a truly great game. We often bitch about ones that people rave about, but this had everything.
Yeah, and Simeon even looked competent.
He did. Not great, but competent.
But they took the shackles off him. Let him throw it deep. Fuck. He throws a nice deep ball.
Yeah. Yeah, those two to Emmanuel Sanders weren't bad.
And I can't remember who was caught the other one down the sideline. Not the Fowler TD, but the other one where he caught it inside the 10 or something.
Oh, Demaryius Thomas not looking soft. Yeah. That game was great. From one of our fantasy leagues, 4 players were at the game, so they had a pretty good time. Yeah, if you're going to travel, that's what you want to see, even though I think most of them wanted Denver to win. Not all.
It's a good thing they weren't a Seahawks fan traveling to Tampa.
All right, let's get right to it. The Thanksgiving Day games, which we bet very small wagers on, all of them. And not necessarily well. Starting...
Well, we did okay. I stand by all 3 of those fucking picks. But okay, let's get into it.
Okay. Minnesota was plus 2.5 at Detroit. We kind of doubled up on Minnesota, thinking they could win this and then have the driver's seat for that sorry-ass division.
No.
You texted me, we are never betting on fucking Sam Bradford again. And you are correct.
But I don't even know if it's Bradford. He came out in the press and was saying, let's throw the ball deep.
Well, the one time he tried and out, the guy just baited him. He fucking stinks. It's Bradford.
But that out, okay, that the interception to end the game, essentially, was horrible. But they never softened them up once with anything deep. Like, not even remotely close. Just, throw one to Cordero Patterson. Just let him run straight down the field and throw it as far as he can.
No, I'm tired of making excuses for him.
All
he did was look around for 2 seconds and then throw over the middle.
I saw this fucking play out in Tennessee for 4 weeks. Until Kendall Wright came back and they started running Rashard Matthews down the field. When you just throw underneath, there's no routes past 10, 15 yards for Minnesota. How are you softening up the defense at all to open up the underneath? You're not. So they don't have to back off and worry about getting beat deep. That's why they could play that coverage they played on that pick. Where the guy didn't even draw back. He just fucking stopped and drifted over. It's what Tennessee faced for the first month of the season. Until you start stretching it, they don't even have to be complete, but you have to have the threat of throwing it deep. You have to back a linebacker or a safety off so they can't just fucking go into that fucking zone at 12, 15 yards and wait.
I don't disagree with your concept. I disagree that Sam Bradford is capable of anything.
But you don't have to, Marlon. I'm not saying he's going to throw it on the money and they're going to make big plays. But other teams get pass interference calls, and at least it's in their mind.
Yeah, I mean they're way too conservative, but I don't know. 2
and
firsts and a second now for Sam Bradford, and he looks about as good as Brock Osweiler.
Oh, he's better than that. I won't shit on him that poorly, even though I was pissed off at him in that game. But he's better than Brock Osweiler.
I'm not certain we have any evidence of that at any point in his career.
Minnesota is playing like they have Adrian Peterson. They haven't adjusted their game planning. The fucking Norv Turner quits, and I think it was over the conservative nature of the calls.
But he was making those calls.
But was he? Or was he getting overridden by the coach?
No, I think it had more to do with the fact that his son wasn't promoted to be his heir, apparently.
Marlon, nothing. The play calling hasn't changed at all. So who's running the ship? The play calling's the same under Norv Turner as it is under Pat Shurmur.
The only time I saw them let Bradford throw anything that went over 10 yards in the air was that Green Bay game. Then they had the bye week. I don't know what they're seeing, but
and Washington,
I'm inclined to...
Washington, he had a good game against the Skins. And they lost that one.
Don't recall that, but...
No, he had a good game against the Skins. But they just don't throw it like their biggest pass plays are to Rudolph. I don't get it. Just run Cordero Patterson deep and just heave it. Who gives a fuck? Do that 2 or 3 times a game, and you'll back some of those fucking corners off so you can complete those underneath passes. Fuck, just run them to clear shit out.
Yeah,
there's none of that even happening.
I'd almost forgotten Cordero Patterson existed, so...
All he does is return kicks.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck you're using them for.
No, but Detroit, once again... I mentioned to you, we weren't crazy about this game, and with Detroit playing, we should have just bet the try-bet. Had 5 points on either side of this bitch.
But
we would have gotten a 2-1.
But that's why we didn't take the points, too. That's why we bet Minnesota on the money line. Because a field goal, which Detroit seems to win by every time they play Minnesota this year.
Every time they play almost every game.
So
Detroit's, I think, won by more than 5 points once, and that was against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago.
So it didn't make sense to take the 2.5 points. It wouldn't matter.
No, I'm not arguing that.
So I stand by it should have been into overtime, and you take your chance there. But Minnesota has no running game. And they throw 8-yard passes. And they throw 3rd and 5. Oh, he runs 3-yard crossing pattern and gets back.
Yep. That was the part that was killing me. Throwing 3 yards short. Now...
But that's coming from the coach.
Wow.
That's coming from the coordinator.
Yeah.
Calling those routes. They're running what they're told to run.
Well, I don't know. When Bradford's career sparks in the future, you can say I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing that he's not a great quarterback. But part of it in Minnesota is play calling because it hasn't changed from one to the next.
That is true. What else was I going to say about this game? Oh, yeah. Darius Slay is our nemesis, too. That's 2 games where we bet against Detroit, and he was personally responsible for putting them in the bag.
I don't know how he gets a helmet on his head. When he came off with the spider webs crawling off his head or whatever, it looked like the Weeknd was playing corner for him. But he made a great pick. What the fuck are you going to do?
Oh, he's a good player.
Yeah, he made a great play in a big spot, and they won. Full marks to him, but if Minnesota does fucking one thing different, they probably win that game.
Welcome to life as a Lions fan. All right, next up, we had a shoot 'em up. We had Dallas -7. We also had the over in our Trixie bet. Well, near the end there, we were going to get one of those. I would have preferred if we just cashed our Dallas -7.
Yeah. But
how good do you think Washington is?
Well, if they had a defense, they'd be scary. Because do you think Kirk Cousins has turned the corner into I'm not going to say elite, but above average quarterback.
I'm starting to think so. He's throwing a nice ball. I don't recall any particular near picks he had or anything, which, even when he'd put up these 400-yard games in the past, you'd go back and you would see 3 times when he should have thrown an interception.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to believe in him fully yet, but
he's a top 10 quarterback this year.
I can't argue that. And, I think Dallas has problems on defense. I was a little surprised they kind of got away from controlling the clock in the second half of that game, which is their best defense.
Yeah.
Is to keep the ball out of other people's hands. Dallas is really good. Serious questions on defense.
Same with the Redskins. I think the Redskins, if they had the Giants' defense, would have maybe 2 losses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're putting up enough points.
And if Dallas had the Giants' defense, they'd be undefeated.
Yeah.
But, so we got the first leg on the Trixie there on the over. It was such a meaningless touchdown to screw our spread.
Yeah.
It hurt. It really did hurt.
Yeah, we lost the first 2 games that we bet on a last-second field goal and a touchdown under 2 minutes. That was their Thanksgiving.
And then this was dull.
Well, I'll take a boring win over our 2 exciting losses.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, we got some free bets for betting the Thursday night game. I bet with our end of it, because we took Pittsburgh just on the money line, which paid us $2.50 profit.
Because Marlon has his own account.
Yeah,
so
well, we had discussed this after the podcast, so you were aware. So I just took that because that was the surest thing I could find.
Yeah.
And I just wanted the free play. So I put the $10 down on Le'Veon Bell scoring 2 TDs or more. Soon as I placed it at plus 200, he scored a touchdown 5 minutes into the first. The odds dropped to negative 225, and I thought, I've got a real shot at this one for us.
And then they threw 3 touchdowns to Antonio Brown.
They couldn't even get into that range. If they'd gotten inside the 15 at any point.
Yeah.
But they were scoring from the 40. Just killed me. They couldn't. Make someone make a tackle inside the 10.
Yeah, but the shitty thing was, for fantasy reasons, Roethlisberger still only threw it like 23 times.
Well, I know, but they were all bombs for touchdowns.
I know, but he put up no fantasy points. Bell scored almost as many with only 1 touchdown as Roethlisberger had with 3.
I didn't realize that, but...
Yeah, he still had 20 points. So he had over 100 yards total offense, plus a touchdown. So usually when Roethlisberger throws 3 touchdowns, he's thrown for 350. No, he had 200. That's my only bitch, and we covered easily in that.
Yeah.
It got a little shaky there late in the second when they got down. Could have made it 21-14. I got a little nervous, but after the half, it was... Indy did nothing.
Once they just gave up on field goals. Tolzien, I thought, played fine. He wasn't quite the liability we were expecting. Oh, and then I also just put up a bet that there would be exactly 1 field goal in the second half because I thought Pittsburgh would get... Oh, yeah. That
was on our shared account.
Yeah.
No field goals. We picked only 1 field goal in the second half, and that didn't cash either. But we get that money back, so we were playing odds more than anything.
Yeah.
And
we had a reasonable look because part of our logic was that Indy had already revealed they weren't going to kick a field goal no matter what.
Yeah.
We thought Pittsburgh at some point would grind grind the ball down to the 20, 25, have no choice but to boot it.
And that didn't happen either.
Nope.
But
okay. Our
so,
other...
oh, sorry?
You had
the
something to
Trixie.
add there?
Well, I was just going to give her a total, but you want to talk about the Trixie.
Yeah, the Trixie then, we had Pittsburgh -9, and we had the Dallas-Washington over. We would have gotten about $1 less than we bet back for 2 of the 3 on that. We were cowards and cashed it out for about $2 less.
Yeah, we cashed out for 6.
Yeah.
So
and when we were working out what we lost, I just realized we got $2.50 off that Pittsburgh money line bet.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's...
Yeah, it makes us only losers of less this weekend.
Well, yeah, but we had... so we bet 23 and cashed out roughly 15. Maybe 15.50. So we lost like 7.50 on Thanksgiving Day games. Whoop-de-whoop.
And they do make it more interesting.
Yeah, it was fun watching them.
Okay.
I was even keeping track of the indie game somewhat.
Yeah, which is, without gambling, there would have been very little excitement on that. Though everyone at Mitch's, where he cooked a delicious turkey, did grow sick of me shouting, "Take it to the house," every time Le'Veon Bell touched the ball.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, I was pretty good. It was
for
only
10
if he
minutes.
had if he had space in front of him. If he was getting wrapped up in the middle. I didn't call it, but
yeah, I was done talking to you in 10 minutes.
fair enough.
Oh, only when you got mad at me for saying we did pretty well in an over-under betting pool. And you took it personally. I'm like,
yeah, I don't know where I saw the slight there.
I don't either. I just heard about Vegas and who the king of the over-under was. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. 2 Sundays action.
Favorite Thanksgiving memory. It was almost like sitting around the table at home. Okay, go move on. I'm done.
Okay.
I couldn't let that go, though.
Yeah, no, fair enough. All right. Our Sunday bets. We started well. We took San Francisco plus 7.5 at Miami.
And they were
They scored first.
Scramble away from tying that fucking thing.
Yeah, though, I mean, they still covered.
Which was in jeopardy at one point when they were down, 31-10?
31-17.
No, 14.
Oh, okay.
They scored 10 in the fourth quarter to get the cover.
But, well, that was our best bet. I mean, Miami's playing pretty well, but San Fran suddenly has been able to more or less stop the run. Not like they were in weeks 5 or 6. It's something to keep in mind. They held Ajayi to 80-some yards. This could have been worse, though, I'll say, because Devontae Parker had a touchdown pulled off the board, and then a deep ball later pulled off the board, both times correctly for having 1 foot out. But he looks good, actually. If Tannehill is even average, Parker's going to be a good player.
Yeah.
So that was our moment of joy. Our final 2 games. Now, Boyd, we'd bet New England minus 7.5. You made a smart decision that could have looked great. Cashing out that bet and changing it to New England minus 7. If they get that 2-point conversion, we're at least in a push situation.
Oh, yeah. Which I don't even know why I thought that would be the case. I thought New England would kill the Jets.
Well, it didn't help that...
Well, Gronk went out right away, didn't he? He's back now.
Which we should have expected, but...
Yeah, but this wasn't even his chest. This was his fucking back. Now.
Who knows with that guy? He's going to be one of these guys, and who knows if J.J. Watt will join him, that we're so hyped and so amazing, and they can't stay on the field.
Well, the Patriots don't have a shot if he's not healthy in the playoffs.
No. Brady didn't look good at any point. I thought the knee was just overhyped, Belichick mind games to some extent, but he looked fairly average. He looked like a 39-year-old quarterback who was feeling a bit of it late in the season.
Yeah.
His talk of playing to 45 may not occur. But the game that broke my heart was we had Seattle minus 5.5 at Tampa Bay. Seattle gave up 14 points, I don't know, before the echoes from the starting gun stopped. Gave up nothing else. Managed to put 5 fucking points. An offense that not only me, but many people thought had turned the corner. Wilson was moving around, making that offensive line look at least marginally competent. Baldwin had been playing great.
But they're one-dimensional.
Holes. Yeah, well, Procise may be better than we thought.
Well, that's what I said. You thought he wasn't big enough, but he gave him options in the pass game. We know it takes a year to come back from what Rawls has been through, last year even, and then he got hurt again this year. And there's nobody else there. They cut Michael for I don't know why.
Unless he's murdering prostitutes, most NFL teams would not have made that decision. What's he doing off the field or in attitude that you wouldn't keep him as insurance?
And you brought him back this year in training camp.
You said he got woke. That was the quote in training camp. He got woke.
Maybe he fell back to sleep, but he got picked up, wasn't he? Isn't he in Green Bay now?
He might have been in a couple of teams already, but I mean, this happened last year too. The Cowboys had him for a while. Didn't the Bears?
I can't remember, but I just don't understand. See, with Rawls' injury issues, and I know you can't predict that Procise is going to go down the day after you cut him, essentially, but why wouldn't you keep him even just on your practice squad?
Yeah, not practice because he can be taken from there, but he's a non-dressed. He's a healthy scratch. If you don't need him. It's just running backs are not so prevalent in the league that you can just afford to let a guy who'd been very productive for at least the first 6 games of the year. And
I get Procise had kind of taken the job away from him, and Rawls was coming back, but you don't know what you have in Rawls yet. Why not give it a week or two and then cut him?
I think it stands as the most bizarre and potentially disastrous decision of the year.
And I'll give Seattle credit. They haven't leaked anything about what the issue was and why they cut him to hurt his chances of getting another job. Because most teams
I hadn't thought of it, but that's...
They would cut him, and then the whispers would come out in the paper that he was doing this or that, and that's why we cut him. But
a good example is the trade New England made with Cleveland for Collins.
Mm-hmm.
You know, immediately he had Lombardi out there saying, he was always in the wrong place. He didn't study hard. They came out with a smear for a decision which also looks a little suspect.
Yeah. I'd say.
So That one bugged me because I always play a 7-team money line parlay with my boss, and once again this week we hit 6 of 7 and failed to cash. Seattle being the culprit.
And did you tease that at all, or did you
No,
just
we just
take
do
them
straight money line.
Okay, money line.
Yeah, so that's why on the 7 teams our payouts sometimes aren't huge, right?
Yeah.
Because we're taking a lot of favorites. We usually have a dog or two in there that bumps up the cash, but in this time it was all favorites. It would have just been $20 pays $200. I could have lived with that, you know.
Yep, I would have.
So I don't know. We keep knocking at the door. Maybe this week we'll figure out the winning formula.
Yeah, take less games. That's the winning formula.
Oh, I know it is.
Bet more money, take less games.
Yeah, but Seattle wasn't a game we would have taken out. We could have taken 3 games and Seattle would have been in there. We both liked them a lot.
And we did too.
Yeah. Okay.
So our profit loss for the week was minus 1840.
Plus 250 that we got on the Pittsburgh money line. So
Okay,
about 16
minus 1590.
Hey, in a losing week, I'll take any penny I can find in the couch
Yeah,
cushions.
but I was basing it out of this account. Although I guess I did factor in that account because we had to bet 1 week out of your account. So, okay, minus 1590.
Okay. San Diego won. I got to watch the whole game, and it wasn't exciting football, Boyd.
Well, I would prefer your boring win over the way I had to sweat out the Titans.
Well, we gave up an onside kick. There were some Hail Marys at the end of my game, too.
So did we. We gave up an onside kick at the start of the second half.
and I was just saying, okay, give up an onside and then get Hail Married to lose. That would have filled completely in the Chargers bingo card of disastrous losses.
Well, you did help the Titans, so thank you.
And first home defeat for Houston this year.
Well, I hope there's a couple of more to come because, well, that's the last game of the year is Titans and Texans. It might be for the division in 8-8.
Might be. The AFC West, the records are a little stiffer, so the Chargers are out. They're not a bad football team. They've had some brutal luck, but Bosa is the real fucking deal. He could be getting 3 holding calls per game, drawing 3 holding calls. He really is a force. So that's exciting. I haven't had a pass rusher like that. Well, probably since Merriman.
Yeah, and he was only healthy for what, a couple of years till Tennessee took him out?
Yep, 2 years, and then he got the roid suspension, and then...
The chop block against the Titans.
And then he was accused of sexual assault by Tia Tequila, or whoever that brief bit of Andy Warhol fame was. So, yeah, it's fun. And plus, the fact that they have to pay so much attention to him. Melvin Ingram is playing up to his potential now. So, there's a lot of good things going on in Charger land. It's just, we're looking at the back of a lot of vehicles in front of us in the West.
Yeah, oh, I thought you meant the moving trucks.
Those two, I guess. Though I don't know. Here's the thing, though. If we do go to L.A., if that gets negotiated, would you rather cheer for an interesting San Diego team or a brutal Rams team?
Oh, they'll get more fans than the Rams.
Yeah.
If they move to L.A. That's why they were pissed off they didn't get the L.A. deal that the Rams got.
Yeah.
Because that was basically California's team. If you watched football in California, you were cheering for the Chargers or the Niners. Well, I guess the Raiders too. But being so close to L.A., I'm sure lots of people made the trip up for a weekend game. Not every game, but I'm sure there was lots of people from L.A. went down to watch games.
Yeah, and they had been like the TV rights team in L.A., which when the Chargers were bad, pissed off the L.A. people. But the better the Chargers get, they could have at least caught those people, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so...
Yeah, my Titans looked dominant for 3 quarters, and then somehow we made Matt Barkley look like Dan Marino for 12 minutes, and we should have lost the game. 2 drops in the end zone from 1st and goal at the 6 saved us. Mariota looks good still. I don't know what they do in the last quarter. 2 runs and a pass to get too predictable when you're trying to end the game. And if you have the offensive line that we're supposed to have, you should be able to get 10 yards to run out the clock with 3 minutes left. And they didn't do it.
With 2 very credible backs.
Yeah, and they couldn't do it. Like,
I mean, Henry busted at least one that I saw. He's a good spell back at the very least. I had kind of tuned out on that game.
Well, I had 2 kind of until, well, they made it like 27-14 with like 8 minutes left. I'm like, whatever. I'm reading Twitter. Oh, 3 and out. Oh, it's 27-21, 3 minutes left. Oh, they kicked deep. Okay. 1 first down, game's over. Nope. 3 and out. We're giving them the ball back with 2 minutes left, and we couldn't fucking stop anything. They made Parrish Cox got picked on for the whole 4th quarter. I don't know what took him so long to find him. He'd been out there all day. But they found him, and they just destroyed him. Well, I think they ended his career. I think Matt Barkley ended a career because he got cut on Monday. No, he got cut on Monday. And who's picking him up with the year he's had? He might get a look in training camp, but I can't see how he sticks. He was god-awful this year.
Every week, like, I'm not sure how much of it made it to the podcast, but you raged about him after every Titans game. So when I heard they cut him, they waived him, like, immediately after the game, which would be nice, but I suspect it did happen on Monday.
Yeah.
But, no, I knew I'm going, Boyd's probably having a party right now.
Well, and here's the thing. When you run when you have Dick LeBeau as your defensive coordinator, why did we sign a safety in free agency instead of corner? When you're blitzing like he does and you play a lot of man-to-man, why didn't we go upgrade at corner? I don't even know how good our other corner is. They never throw at him. They don't have to.
Well, you'll probably find out now. But they're going to test whoever the new guy is.
No, McCourty's pretty good on the other side.
Yeah,
he's adequate. But when you have a guy that just gets burnt 2 out of 4 plays, and the only 2 that go incomplete are missed throws, it's not because he's made a play. Why would you go anywhere else? And it's the same story when we talk about run-pass stats and where you're ranked in the NFL. Well, the Titans are 8th against the run and 22nd against the pass. Why do you think that is? Because Parrish Cox couldn't fucking stop anybody.
And throw too, which tells you even more about that.
But we didn't get to Barkley in the 4th quarter with anything.
Well, Casey went down.
Yeah, but we weren't even on the blitzes. We couldn't get to him. Cox couldn't hold him off for 2 seconds. We'd just about get to him, and they'd complete it. We'd be like half a step away from a sack or hitting him as he throws, and Cox couldn't hold him off. And we go into that stupid zone that you hate.
Oh, yeah.
When there's 2 minutes left, and they had no timeouts, But you can still throw over the middle. They were getting big chunks over the middle, like 20, 25 yards. They just ran to the middle of the field and stopped. Oh, there's 20. But got the win. On two, the one drop was atrocious. Hit him right in the numbers. Cox had fallen down. And hit him in the numbers. I don't even know the receivers. They had guys out there I'd never even heard of were beating our corners.
Well, on the second drop, too, it wasn't easy, but it was just a pro-level catch. There would have been nothing spectacular about the catch. It was thrown low and safe. He went down, hit him in the chest.
Yep. So, thankfully, we're a game and a half behind Houston, essentially, because they beat us once. But we get them week 17, so we're still in it. Still got a shot. We just got to put 2 wins together, but we play Denver coming off the bye in week 14, so who the fuck knows? I don't know how we'll do holding up against their defense. I don't think Denver is going to score a lot. Because we're weak in the pass game. I'm not that scared of Simeon, even though he looked good against Kansas City on a few plays. I'll take my chances. I think we got a shot in that game.
No, I don't count you out there either. Denver's not a powerhouse.
And my guess will be it'll be Denver -3.
It's in Tennessee then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That said, our litany of misery. Let's get to the games. First up, we have...
What time is it? What time is it?
Oh.
It's motherfucking game time!
That's right. It's motherfucking game time. First up, we have Dallas -3 at Minnesota on Thursday. We do not bet Thursday games.
And I know our credo is to take the home team. Fuck that. Dallas had a week off. Bradford can't throw it, or they don't allow him to throw it more than 10 yards. Give me Dallas.
Okay. I'm just sticking with it because I refuse to think, even though my soul agrees with you.
Yeah, but it wasn't a 4-day week. Both of them have a week off.
Yeah, I know.
There's no benefit of the travel or dick. They lost no prep time, nothing. Give me Dallas. Give me Elliott, Prescott, Dez. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by the line, to be honest, but I don't touch Thursday games. Too much fucking weird shit happens. Okay. For real games, first up, Denver -5 at Jacksonville.
I like this game.
I kind of do, except that Denver is coming off one of the most physical games on the Sunday night that went the full 5 quarters functionally.
Yeah, but Jacksonville can't score.
Yeah, but their defense is pretty damn good. 5's
Bills
a
put up
lot to
28.
lay on a road team that has beat the fucking shit.
Well, let's put it this way. Simeon didn't get hit big. The receivers, I don't recall. I watched the second half of the Kansas City game because I had to watch Stampeders play. Lose the Grey Cup, which was wonderful. I think they'll be able to score. How is Jacksonville getting more than 10 points in this game? With Bortles.
Well,
they
I
can't
saw
run
what
the ball.
looked like a gassed game. I mean, Denver's...
Yeah, but how is Jacksonville scoring? At all.
Through
They gave up
fluke.
28. They gave up 28 to the Bills.
Okay, if this were in Denver, would you like Denver -11?
And a -8.
No, because that would be a neutral field. Another 3 for home field. Do you think
Not a
Denver's...
-11. I like a -5, though.
I mean, Denver's given up a fair number of points lately. I think 5's a bit too late. We can put it in the mix.
Yes, put it in the mix, because there's not a hell of a lot here that's...
But against a good, what we agree is a good Giants defense, Jacksonville... Oh, no, that was Cleveland last week.
Yeah, put up 13.
They put up 21 on Buffalo.
Yeah, they're not good. They also gave up 28 to Buffalo.
Yeah, I like Buffalo's offense probably as much as I like Denver's.
Well, if they throw the deep ball against Jacksonville, it'll be open.
I mean, Jacksonville's been putting up, in bizarre fashion, around 21 a week. I'm not certain I trust.
Yeah, but against Denver's defense, they can't run the ball.
Denver's defense is not as awesome. I mean, KC hadn't put up more than 17 in weeks. They put up 30.
I still like Denver here a lot.
Okay, it's in the
Jacksonville's. What are they? 2-10 or 2-9? Like, they're a bad team. I'm basing this on Bortles as anything. Like, they still have good corners, good D-line. The Jacksonville can't run the ball. When you're one-dimensional against we talked about this after that, or was it before the podcast, that the reason Kansas City kept running the ball, or it was at Denver, but Kansas City did the same thing. They just kept running the ball to try and slow down the pass rush, and then it eventually worked.
Yeah.
Jacksonville has no threat of that. There's nobody there can run the ball.
Well, I don't know their health, Yeldon and Ivory. I'm not crazy about laying 5 points on a Broncos team that typically wins by scoring 17.
Yeah, but this is one of the worst teams in the league. I don't care if Denver played the Super Bowl last week. No,
Jacksonville's defense is pretty good. Now, I mean, Denver is a 5-point road favorite after a 5-quarter brutally physical game, traveling from the west to the east.
I think the defense scores a touchdown in that game, too.
Yeah, you can never predict that.
Well, there's how many picks? 2? Over under a 2?
Maybe. I'm just a battered team on a short week traveling to the East Coast, laying 5.
Well, if they're playing Seattle, I'd say okay. But it's not like they're playing the 79 Steelers defense now back-to-back weeks.
No, but they're playing a pretty good defense in Jacksonville.
All right, well, keep it in the mix because I don't know what else I like on this board much.
Okay. Next up, Detroit, plus 5.5 at New Orleans, which I am not fucking touching.
No, me either.
And I don't even know who I like in this.
I'm taking New Orleans.
I know. It depresses me, though, because we want New Orleans to lose.
I know, but can Detroit score enough? Well, they've scored enough every week to keep it close.
Yeah, but the enough is usually under 28.
I know, but what are they doing on defense? It can't all just be the offenses they're playing.
19 to Jacksonville, 13 to Minnesota.
The one game
they were off that week.
The one game, the Packer game, they gave up a ton.
But that was all in the first half. But that was way back in like week 3 or so. I'm a little more interested in their month. Yeah.
That was the one game where they gave up 16 to Tennessee and lost 16-15.
16 to Minnesota. I mean, their defense seems to be doing all right.
Well, Stafford should put up 350 yards in this game. No, fuck it. I'm taking Detroit to cover because all their games are within 3.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Detroit too.
Fuck it. I talked myself out of New Orleans. And you're giving me the point totals they gave up.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans did let the Rams score a lot of points. How the Rams let them put up 49?
Well, they only gave up 21.
Yeah, to the Rams, that's 3 games output. Okay, next up, we have Houston plus 6.5 at Green Bay. Another game I don't want to touch.
Well, I don't want to touch. Give me Green Bay. Because you don't have to be a great defense to stop Brock Osweiler.
I didn't watch a minute of the Monday night game.
I watched a few, not enough to get an opinion on it.
What I've heard was what Green Bay did was get rid of trying to just send it down the field. They used the short passing game, West Coast style, to grind the clock.
Which when you have Rodgers, makes perfect fucking sense. And
yeah, it only took them how many games to maybe figure out that without a running back, this was a good strategy?
Well, they're using like a New England offense now. If that's
or
the case.
Even go back to the fucking Niners.
But the Niners had a running game, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They had Roger Craig. But, no, I like Green Bay here.
I think so, too. Houston...
Because they'll stack 8 in the box, stop Lamar Miller, and make Osweiler beat him. That's all you have to do to beat the Texans. Make Osweiler beat you. Don't let him run the ball, and he's not going to beat you. They could finish 6-10, Houston.
Oh,
the way
yeah.
Osweiler's playing.
They impressed me in no way against San Diego. And for all their flaws... Well, no, San Diego's defense is quite a bit better than Green Bay's, but...
Oh, Tennessee put up 6? Or something like that. But anyway.
43, maybe.
No, you guys had 40. We were in the 30s. But Parrish Cox should have been cut after that game. Fuck. No, Green Bay... I've been against them most of the year. But
we both have been. And
Houston's bad.
Yep.
So, I don't know how they score enough points.
There was the safety, I think his name was Deems. He's a fucking liability. That's how San Diego scored. We just kept exploiting him. I think he got a pick late, but his pick was because he was so far behind in coverage. The ball got tipped up, and by the time he ran over, the ball was coming down, and he caught it.
Yeah, give me Green Bay.
Yeah.
We need this loss for Houston, too, to put us back. It could be if Indy wins this week, it'll be a 3-way tie at 6-6.
Okay. It kind of fits into our belief that Tennessee is better than Houston, and if you guys could fucking beat Indy. All right. We just
need to win 2 games in a row. We'd win one, lose one, win one, lose one all year.
It's like Jeff Fisher never left.
Oh,
Okay.
no, aren't they 4-7?
Okay, next up we have KC plus 3.5 at Atlanta.
Oh, I'm not touching this one for the same reason you're giving about Denver.
That's what I was going to say. If this were 2 rested teams, I think KC's the better team. I don't mind the 3.5, but I don't know who came out of that Sunday night game right.
Well, with the way Denver was beating Kansas City deep late in that game, does this not kind of make you think Julio Jones might have a big game?
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
And
now they've got that Taylor Gabriel to do exactly what you talked about Minnesota doing. They can throw screens to him, but they can also just run him on clear-outs deep.
Yeah.
He's gonna reduce coverage to Julio.
Just take a guy deep. Just take one guy out. That's all you have to do.
And you've got to pay attention to Gabriel. He can catch a little, and he's really fast. Another guy who may or may not have a good game, but Tyreek Hill can do the same thing for KC.
Yeah. It'll come down to Atlanta's pass protection. If Ryan has some time, they might be in trouble, KC.
And Houston's just a beast, but he was taking every third play off. And I think, he hasn't been there long. He was one of the guys who I think got gassed for KC in the second half of that Denver game, which is understandable. He's a giant man playing in altitude with very little conditioning.
Fuck, was he fast off the snap.
God, he's so fucking good.
Watching him and Miller, that was just fun.
Well, okay, so the AFC West has Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Houston, and Von Miller in the same division. I can't name too many pass rushers in the whole league better than that quartet.
So if you're a left tackle and you want to make some money, go to the AFC West.
Yeah, we'll pay anything. But I'm still going to take KC here. But I don't want to bet it.
Let's see. KC's going to get in the playoffs, win or lose this game. Falcons put up a ton of points almost every week. They can run the ball just like Denver did to kind of slow down the pass rush.
Yeah, Freeman's proven he's the real deal.
And they've got Coleman's making plays again. He's back.
Oh, yeah, and a nice spell back. They've got two really good running backs.
I'm going to take Atlanta.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have LA plus 13.5 at New England.
Oh, fuck.
I can't trust New England at this stage. I don't know how healthy they are.
But go off against, even though the Patriots' defense isn't great, rookie quarterbacks never fare well against Bill Belichick's defense.
Yeah, they'll mess up his head. And, I mean, Goff got 3 touchdowns early, and then I think he had about 50 or 60 yards in the second half. I don't think there's a lot of complexity or subtlety to his game yet.
No, I'm taking New England. Or is this where they give Gurley 35 carries?
I'm going to take LA just because New England hasn't proven that they're 14 points.
Cross country playing at 10 in the morning? Nope.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that fucking Fisher will come out and win.
Well, no,
it's like those Seattle games.
No, that's what I thought going into New Orleans last week. I thought they might do that, but nah, they're done. Fisher's done. They were talking contract extension at the start. He's done at the end of this year. Either that or he's got Polaroids on somebody that signs his paycheck. Let's blow it all up.
Okay, or Polaroids of someone in the league like Goodell or that, and so the payoff for, giving LA to the Rams was that Fisher must be hired for life.
You could have the most losses in NFL history here soon for a coach. How do you still have a job? In this day and age when guys get fired, we fired Wisenhunt after a year and a half.
Yeah, a couple of blips and no titles. Amazing. And runs the dirtiest teams in the league and somehow is on the competition committee. Somehow he's doing something right, but I can't figure out what it is. All right, next up, we have Miami +3 at Baltimore.
I don't want to touch this one either.
Really? I don't hate Miami here. I know Baltimore's defense is okay.
They have good pass defense.
But their offense is atrocious.
I know. They've only given up 200 points. I think Miami
had their scare game, in the winning streak. San Francisco might have reminded them that, holy shit, everyone's pretty good in this league.
Yeah, but they... They have a pass rush. They couldn't stop.
Baltimore beat Cincy without A.J. Green and Giovanni Bernard by 5. I mean, are they like Detroit? I'm just going back the last month. Have they beaten anyone by a touchdown?
Well, they've outscored their opponents by 17 points.
Which over 12 games is not...
No. No, all their wins are close.
They lost by
throw
10.
It in the mix.
Yeah, I'll put it in the mix. That's all. I'm not going to make a strong case.
Oh, no, we need an underdog, so...
And I do like the way Sue and Wake have been playing lately. You know what happens to Flacco when you get a body on him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put that in the mix. Next up, we have Philly -1 at Cincinnati. Cincy playing for pride.
Eagles playing for a playoff spot.
Yeah,
They're not out.
No, but they're pretty damn close. I was a little surprised by what Green Bay did to them. But I'm not certain Cincy is capable of that.
No, they have Eford.
I'm assuming AJ Green is still out. I mean, I know Cincy's been saying he could be coming back, but
he's out for the year. They're not going to bring him. He's not coming back at all. For what? To get hurt? Just leave him on the sidelines. You're not going anywhere. Have him healthy for next year and try and retool. They need to sign another wide receiver to be a number 2 that's a threat.
Sproles and Smallwood, between the two of them, I think can give Philly a semi-credible run game. I mean, since he did shut down Steve Smith, I'd probably rather stay away from this because I pick every Philly game wrong. So
I'm taking the Eagles, though.
I'm taking the Eagles, but I think just on my stellar record with them.
Well, and Cincy's defense, you're saying Baltimore only beat him by 5.
Yeah.
So.
No, I like the Eagles, but that almost guarantees a Bengals victory.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have San Fran +1.5 at Chicago.
No?
Okay.
No.
I like the Niners quite a bit here.
Oh, I do too, but 2 shitty teams.
Yeah, 2 shitty teams. That's fine with me.
I'm not riding a 1-10 team.
No, they paid for us last week, though.
I know, but not
they'd
a 1.5.
have to actually win this one.
Yeah, if they were...
Though they've got a nice handle on the number 2 spot. I mean, they've got to figure that they're not... Cleveland's not going to give up ground. They're not going to get the number 1. Winning here actually doesn't hurt their draft status.
No, but back-to-back games on the East Coast.
Soldier Field. That'll go over well with Kaepernick. So he's had games in Miami after wearing a Fidel Castro shirt, and now he's going to Soldier Field.
No,
I do like the Niners quite a bit. I'm not hesitating a bit there.
No, I'm taking the Niners too, but I just can't. If it was like 3.5, I'd be more inclined.
Yeah, this line says that the impression is that San Fran's a better team, and I can't argue that. My one final thing with why I like them is, yeah, Matt Barkley did some stuff okay, but you know what I always say. Anyone can look good for one game. Once they get a game of footage on a guy, it usually takes a big step backward for a while. So I like the Niners there. Next up, we have Buffalo +3 at Oakland.
I don't mind Oakland here.
I don't either. This line confuses me a little because why would you set, like, this is from Walter Football, and he makes a great point here. If you made Oakland -6, everyone would still bet Oakland.
Yeah.
Why are you only making them 3?
And would the Raiders defense just give up 32?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you'd still get the same action, though. They're such a popular team and a public team right now.
Yeah.
It seems like this one, it seems like they're begging you to bet on Oakland, and there's no need for you to make it that enticing.
Well, and it's -115 at -3.
Like this,
which
seems...
they're charging you, they're hitting you on the vig for it.
Not by much, though.
Yeah, but it's still more. They're usually -110.
So you're paying an extra nickel for the vig. Like, you could even make this 4.5. It's just, he wrote that, and it struck me that this is kind of the definition of a smelly line.
Well, what do they know about Buffalo that we don't know? Or Oakland, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because
I know Oakland's had some fluky wins.
But could you see the Raiders not scoring 28 in this game?
No, I can't.
Jacksonville put up 21. Carr's probably the leading candidate for MVP.
Yeah. Their running game has looked fine enough. They got a very corrupt game in Mexico City, but Houston's defense is the equivalent of Buffalo's. Like, I like it too, but I just wanted to bring that up. And I did think it was a really good little couple of paragraphs at Walter Football. It just makes no fucking sense.
And I don't mind Buffalo having to fly all the way across the country either.
Yeah. And it's not like Oakland has a clear path here. KC's beaten them once.
Yeah, Oakland's got to keep winning. And then still beat KC again.
Yeah, it's still in the mix, and we're probably going to do it, but I would have been remiss not to bring up the fishy line here.
No, I thought it was fishy too. Because it should be between 4 and 6, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to change your action patterns at all. You could make it 4.5 and everyone would be on Oakland at home.
Yeah.
This is saying they're the equivalent teams.
Yeah, neutral field.
I'm not certain that that's true. Okay, well, that one's definitely in the mix with some nervousness there.
What's Buffalo's road record? 3-3. And the Raiders are 4-2 at home. Is that part of it?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. No, I don't think Buffalo has the secondary to cover both Crabtree and Cooper.
Especially with the threat of the run.
Sammy Watkins is great. I mean, and he looked fairly healthy, but I don't think he destroys a team on his own, especially with Tyrod Taylor, who is...
No.
He's fine, but he's not a guy that you count on to hit a guy every time he throws it to him.
And the Raiders, well, Max playing.
I think the Raiders' defense is playing better than it was in the early going.
Yeah.
They're not such a horrible liability anymore.
Yeah, although they did give up 32 to the Panthers with a similar style quarterback. But they did 3 points. It's a cover. It's a push in this one, so I don't mind the Raiders. For all the reasons you stated, I don't mind the Raiders.
Okay. Next up, we have the New York Giants +6 at Pittsburgh.
Not touching it.
No, it's in Pittsburgh. I can't. I think the Giants are terrible. I don't think the Steelers are a whole hell of a lot better, but they're at home, which means at least 2 to 3 absurdly fishy calls, even though Tomlin, once one call goes against them, will whine about it in the media. That took a lot of balls.
The Giants' pass defense is pretty good now. And that's what scares me in this game. Can they bracket Brown like, who was it? Who did Baltimore? Fucking bracketed him that whole fucking game.
Well, strangely enough, I'm leaning towards the Giants. Like,
Me too.
I don't see the Steelers as being...
Well, Bell is the key. If they get him going and that opens up Brown and the receivers.
Well, the Giants' defense overall isn't bad. They've got some beef on the line, too.
Yeah.
But I still don't see Pittsburgh as being legitimate 6-point favorites over anyone. I got to take the Giants, though I would not bet this in a million years.
No, me either, but I'm taking the Giants. And I think I'm sitting Big Ben in fantasy this week and going with Carr.
I would. Buffalo's secondary. Remember that early... I know they've gotten better, but remember that early Jets-Buffalo game.
Yeah.
They can be had, and it's frustrating because it's going to be generally one of Cooper or Crabtree.
Yeah,
but one of them,
Crabtree.
Yeah, one of them goes off. And, of course, that's when I sat him. All right. Next up, we cannot bet the game. Tampa Bay +3.5 at San Diego. I can't see myself taking San Diego here. Not at 3.5.
I can't see myself taking Tampa. Let's use your same argument from Kansas City, and my guess is that was a pretty physical game.
Yeah.
With Seattle.
Yeah.
They're flying all the way across this is the farthest trip on the board.
Well, it's not so much the travel. I think that's less. It's how physical the game is beforehand. And in past years, we've usually been able to spot the team that if you play against them, you're battered the next week. For
and
years
Seattle's
it was Seattle. Last year it was Denver. Like,
but
we
a
would follow their
14-5 game,
opponents.
14-5 game, that must have been fairly physical on the defensive side of the ball. Chargers can run the ball. Oh, man. I'm taking San Diego.
Okay. I'm taking Tampa.
Even though I want Tampa to win the game for a preseason bet of them over 7.5 wins.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers win this one.
That half point is taking me off. If it was 3, I'd probably just cheer for my team, which I still will be doing. But okay, next up, Washington +2.5 at Arizona.
Yes. I want Washington.
Yeah, I don't mind Washington here.
I like them quite a bit here. Until you brought up the Dolphins, this was my favorite underdog pick. Arizona's quit.
And Arians has lost control of this.
He came out and said there's selfishness on the team, whatever that means. I don't know from whom, because the only one producing is Johnson.
But they gave him 13 carries last week.
Yeah, but he had 120 yards catching the ball.
Oh, I know, but still, 18 touches for the one guy who works. That game plan was atrocious.
I like Washington here even straight up. We'll take the points. The points, but it's +100. They've put up points against everybody they've played essentially all year.
Yep.
And that Arizona defense, the home field, it hasn't been the same this year.
Washington's had 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arians has lost control of the team, which does surprise me because it looked like such a well-run organization.
Well, they just took advantage, right? That's why they always go from a player's coach to a fucking guy that'll crack the whip. Because if you don't rein it in as being the player's coach, if there isn't that fear, it's just human nature. It's like when you had the substitute teacher in school. You fucking did whatever the fuck you wanted. And now they've got that comfortable with him, they don't give a fuck anymore. He's got my back. And they're out of it. Like, there's no hope for him.
No.
So the only way Arizona covers this is if Johnson gets 200 yards total offense and a couple of TDs.
He could do that, and they might still lose. I mean,
but Washington doesn't have a great
Fitzgerald,
defense.
who is the only other player producing. But Carson Palmer is a disaster. Anyway. They're it's like he doesn't game plan for what his players can do anymore. He's trying to push it vertically when he doesn't have a receiver who's capable of even Ted Ginn Jr. production.
Yeah, but isn't it more on Palmer not being able to get it there?
It's part of it, but the problem is it's not working. But he seems unable to move away from his game plan.
I know, but they filled their guys with, except for Fitzgerald, that were supposed to be vertical threats. With Brown, a little speed guy on the outside, they were hitting the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and when
Floyd hasn't developed at all.
So when you don't have that, you can't turn the speed guy who's just used to running straight down the field or running a slant into a possession receiver.
But you can find, if you look for it, you can find a usable slot receiver very easily.
Yeah, well, they don't have one outside of Fitzgerald.
And that's why I think it's a refusal to go from there.
Which is amazing the year Johnson's having when there's no threat anywhere else.
Oh, I know. And, you know, if I'm Washington, I do what the Niners did and just stack the box and fucking dare him.
Well, they can't because they've got Norman to cover whoever they want. So they can't.
No, I meant for Washington. I mean, just if you can take Johnson out of the game.
That's what I'm saying. They got Josh Norman to cover whoever they want, so they can stack 8 in the box.
One thing Josh Norman doesn't do well is cover a slot guy. So Fitzgerald, I think, will do fine, and Johnson. Yeah, but a slot guy won't.
A slot guy's not going to beat you.
No, I meant overall in the season.
Oh no, I know, but in this game, Fitzgerald's not going to beat you like he used to be able to by himself catching the ball, because they're 12-yard catches if you can tackle.
Yeah.
They're not beating you deep. Stack the box. Make Palmer beat you trying to throw to those other guys. And if you got Norman on any one of the outside guys, bracket Fitzgerald with a linebacker and a safety. And what's going to happen? You got to be perfect. You got to go 10. Arizona's got to go 10 to 12 play drives to score a touchdown.
Yeah. And their home field, which had been huge for years, seems to be not a factor anymore because the team is not doing well.
No, and the NFC East is going to send 3 teams to the playoffs.
Could be. All right. Next up, we have Carolina plus 6.5 at Seattle. I don't want to go anywhere near it.
No. Who knows what? Fuck. Like you said, the Seahawks putting up 5 points is the only reason I'm not taking them here. Like to bet on them. I'm going to take them as my pick.
I'm taking Carolina. I think this is going to be, and I'm going to say the under. Well, you're taking the Seahawks?
Yeah. Just because of the offensive line, and the weakness of Seattle is their offensive line. Kuechly's out. The Seattle still has a very good pass rush. they know how to play against Newton. It's not going to be like last year in the playoffs where he lit them up for 35 in the first half.
Yeah.
So give me Seattle.
Seattle 6.5. Oh, you almost convinced me. I'm not sure. But I think I'm still going with Carolina. And the Monday night game is off the board because there's been no official announcement on luck. It is Indy at the Jets, and I wouldn't want to go near that anyway.
No. That line will be if... Is it going to be Jets -3? Even if Luck's playing?
No, I think if Luck is playing, it'll be Indy -1.5.
Well, with the Jets' running game and their pass rush, I'm taking the Jets wherever it falls.
I'm taking Indy if Luck plays. Okay, we have 4 games we don't mind. We have Denver -5 at Jacksonville, Miami +3 at Baltimore, Oakland at home giving 3 to Buffalo, and Washington +2.5 at Arizona.
No, scrap the Denver game and let's go with the other ones.
I like it.
So we'll go Miami +3. It's +100. Our $10 bet pays 20 on the nose. Booked. So then we have the Raiders -3 at home over the Bills. -115. $10 pays $18.69. Booked. And then we have Washington +2.5 at Arizona. Come on, you stupid fucking page. +2.5 at Arizona. It's +100. $10 pays 20 on the nose again. And it is booked.
All right. Quick summary. We have Miami +3 on the road at Baltimore. 10 pays 20. We have Oakland -3 at home over Buffalo. $10 pays $18.69. And we have Washington on the road +2.5 at Arizona. $10 pays 20.
And can I just say, for some reason, our underdog bets have been better the last 2 years than our other picks for the most part.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of the underdog picks. No teams are good enough to lay what they used to, you know?
Yeah. So, if you want to check out the podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon and at OLinesBoyd. Facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And those were our picks for Week 13.
Fuck the refs in the Big Ten. Fuck Michigan.
Degenerate fucking gambler.